My firstborns said that they were nurturers, mature, bossy, that they take control, that they're overly protective, and that they're achievers. Is there anything about themselves, my middleborns and my lastborns, that you would include that they didn't say? Is there anything that you would include about them that they didn't say about themselves? My middles and my lastborns, they pretty much got it? Okay.
Stuck up.
Yes.
Yes. What do you call that? Conceited?
Yeah.
Conceited?
That is my
know-it-alls, right?
That is
Know
my
it alls? Yes. Yes. Anything else?
Princesses.
Oh, what about boys or firstborn?
Conceited know it alls.
Because the firstborn thought they couldn't do nothing wrong.
No, they did all the rules with us. After that, they didn't have rules for everybody else.
Okay. All right, we'll leave there. All right. My middleborn said that they were introverted, insecure, but strong-willed and competitive, but also caring and compassionate. My firstborns and my lastborns and my only. Is there anything about the middleborns that you can say that they didn't include?
My brother was selfish. He's real selfish.
Okay.
Babies. Babies.
What do you mean?
Because in my opinion, he's not my middle, but my cousin's the middle of his family, and he's just the biggest baby ever.
I can agree with that because my 8-year-old, he's tan dramático. He's over dramatic. Like
He wants to complain about everything.
I have all
You
boys.
say-
I have all boys. So when they're wrestling, my youngest is really tough.
So you want to say complaining?
Yes, they're crybabies.
Whiners. Let's do that. Let's say that. Let's say that. Whiners.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a middle sister, and she's very rebellious. Yes. My brother is rebellious.
They're also followers.
I would say, and instead of, I would say rebellious. I've heard people say that before. But what I like to describe myself was sneaky. That's how I would.
Yes.
That's how I would have described myself.
That's my
was
8-year-old.
sneaky. Yes, Grace.
With my younger siblings, they're very attention seeking because there's 3 middle kids, and so they're constantly trying to get like my parents' attention, my attention.
Attention seeking.
Speaking of from my kids, because my siblings, they were free, they had whatever they wanted. My middle child is also a follower. He tries to be and do and act like the 14-year-old.
Okay.
I don't want to be
Same thing.
I'm gonna put that there, but I'm gonna put
Question mark.
All right, my lastborns. My firstborns, my lastborn said that they were tougher, that they were independent, side-eye on that one, resourceful, and competitive, side-eye. Instead, this is how I would, my lastborns, I would say independent, but I would do this.
Cool.
That's right. Hold on.
Oh, that's right too.
I would say y'all hold it there, actually. That's how I would describe lastborns.
So with my last born sibling, she's very independent, and she's really smart for her age, and I think it's because she's had like the influence of all of her older siblings.
Which makes her resourceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and
Okay, what other character trait would you include?
with my 17-year-old sister, the baby, she's more with me. She's more the achiever.
Okay.
She's been in sports for the city and for school since like 5 years old, and she's getting a sports scholarship. You know, besides me, she's the only other one going to college.
I get it. Okay. What else?
Instead of attention seeking, she's just kind of attention like commanding. Like she just commands attention.
Demands
She
attention.
doesn't ask for it, she just takes it.
Anything else? Anything else that you would say about the last one? Okay, my onlys. For those of y'all who have like cousins, you know, that were only kids, only said that they were small, mature, independent, and you included lonely. I was actually kind of surprised. because most of my onlys don't put that. Their cousins would put that. They would say, oh, no, the other people would say, oh, they were lonely. But they would say, no, we weren't lonely, because to be lonely would be that you missed someone that was there. But you're used to being by yourself, so I'm surprised you put that. What else would you may have included that the only didn't include?
Oh, ain't nobody in my family an only child.
No? Anything that you may include?
I would include selfish. The only one everything for
I
them.
thought
They
the
don't like
only
to share.
child is an attention seeker sometimes. Because sometimes they don't have somebody else they can go to and like get all the attention.
She's
from.
agreeing, and she's
You
the
think
only
so?
child.
Okay, maybe.
That's why I looked at you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, I would put, this also for the, how about time, this codependent. So, all right, y'all, what did we do here just now, the last few minutes? What have we been doing?
Maybe see how we look at ourselves and then how someone else sees us.
Okay, yeah, what I asked you to do was think about yourself, your personality trait, and how it was influenced by your family institution. Right? So family is an institution, it's a social institution. So based on where you fell in your family or in your household, how do you think it influenced? Now, again, what I heard from most of you said, well, that doesn't describe me. I don't know where these people grew up. I was very independent. What we did was we just wrote some things down that we think our personality types were attributed by our birth order. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily true for each one of us because we were firstborn or middleborn or lastborn. And I put the ones in red that I sort of agreed with, that I can corroborate through science, and then other ones that you may have seen based on your own personal experience. Hold on. So, for instance, y'all said that, or I helped you to see that a firstborn is an achiever. What about being a firstborn? Y'all already said it, actually. What about being a firstborn? Because it's true, most firstborns are more likely to be achievers than their other siblings. What is it about being born first that makes them more likely to happen?
Because your parents don't want to fail. They're like installing everything into that firstborn because
they hold all the hopes and dreams, and they ABCs 1, 2, 3. They playing classical music while you're still in the womb. Right, they're doing all of that, right?
Yes, but at the same time, they say that sometimes it doesn't work out with the firstborn, so then they put it into the lastborn. That's how it works in my family.
I get it. I get it. Then we're going to talk about the exceptions and the rules in a minute.
Oh,
Okay. But that's right. That's why that's more likely to happen. For the middleborns, y'all were talking about being introverted, and you gave really good examples about how y'all gave really good examples. They are seeking attention because you have the firstborn and they fall in the middle for a little while. They're the babies, but then when the next one comes, they're sort of forgotten about, and so they tend to whine and be rebellious, and so that's what contributes to some of those personality traits. If you see that. The lastborns, you said that, I like the fact that you said that they were tougher. Why are lastborns tougher? In fact, for the last 30, 40 years, we have scientific evidence that shows that most people who are expelled from school are lastborns. They are the fighters. Why?
Because we grew up fighting, that's why.
Because you had to grow up fighting your older brothers and sisters. So they are more likely to whip somebody's ass.
Exactly.
And not care, because they've been doing it their whole lives.
And my brother,
Yeah.
like me and my middle brother, we did not. Well, my middle brother, he got suspended and stuff. But my last brother, like he is just everywhere. He don't care about failing in class. He don't care about fighting. He don't care about what mama say because she's gonna get it for me anyway. Me and my first brother, it was just like you do one thing wrong, you're not getting nothing.
And we acted like that when we were little, we got a blow.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. And then with the onlys, one of the things that I know a couple of only children, and one of the things about the only children, and I guess that the mature, when you said the mature, goes under this. Their peers are their parents. So they tend to grow up faster. They tend to grow up faster because that's what their examples are, is what their parents are doing, rather than what a college, what a cohort, an age cohort is doing. So they tend to know things a little bit earlier than the rest of us. You know, they're usually the ones that's telling us all that erroneous sexual information. Well, it's not erroneous. It's not erroneous because they get it from their parents, right? But that's, so anyway, what we did, y'all, let me show you what we did. Go ahead, go ahead.
Got the word sheltered.
Oh, for what? The only?
You have to think about it.
How?
Okay, well, like I said, we grew up in a different place.
Yeah.
So,
My mom's still trying to shelter me.
she's so sheltered. So
It is the exact opposite with all the onlys I know. What about y'all?
You
You know, the first only, that is the exact opposite of all the onlys I know. All the onlys I know, all the onlys that I know, they are just out there.
And firstborns are more responsible.
My
'cause
cousin, she's sheltered, she is
Not
to
a
me
bad
bougie. Because she can, like, she's sheltered because, what I mean by sheltered is, her mom, like, she do one thing wrong, her mom's so quick to hop on the highest lawyer to hide her identity.
Whoa.
Okay, what is she doing?
Yeah.
They commit crimes. That's different.
She stole someone's credit card and then.
Yeah, that's crime. That's criminal behavior.
But in school and growing up, she was sheltered. She couldn't go with us or she couldn't do nothing. Like,
Well, that's the reason why she's doing that.
she had to be like that with her mom.
But anyway, y'all, what we did was we generalized. We generalized categories of people. And what you got to know, what I want you to know about sociology is this, is that sociology is about generalizing categories of people. Now, what you may have heard throughout your educational matriculation is, oh, you shouldn't generalize, or oh, this stereotyping. That is what sociology is. Sociology is generalizing. And going to what Taylor was saying, I said, well, I'm gonna explain to you the exceptions in a minute. Our society loves exceptions. We love it. We like the outliers. Right? This is what you got. This going on right here. This. That's the outlier right there. Right? That's the outlier. This is everybody. This is the outlier. Sociology is explaining this. Sociology doesn't give. How about this? This is the exception, not the rule. This is the rule. And so, if you are set on the exceptions, then you're not going to be able to get something. You're not going to be able to get it. It's going to go over your head. It's about the rules. What explains the behavior most of the time? It's about, you're going to hear me say a lot, more likely. You're going to hear me say that. So sociology is the scientific study of human society, and that there are no laws of humanity because human beings are too complex. You know, the laws of gravity, what goes up must come down, and the law of what is it, relativity, and the E equals MC squared and all of that. If you have more than 50% agreement, then you can pretty much safely say that this is what it is for this category of people, more than 50%. But you'll never get 100% agreement. For instance, if you say you grew up in the ghetto, and your mama was your daddy was in jail, and your mama was on crack, and y'all grew up with no money at all, and your grandma raised you, and then she was on crack, and then you was selling drugs, what is the likelihood that you are going to be a millionaire? It's not likely.
No.
But it can happen. Can it happen?
It can.
It can happen. But what's the likelihood? Yes. But the exceptions, but we're talking about human beings. And so because we're talking about human beings, anything can happen. But we're talking about the rules, not the exceptions. Okay? All right. So try to understand that sociology tries to explain the rules of things rather than the exceptions. Let me see something. So when I go in y'all's, so Denise if you don't mind, come over here. I'm gonna let you get into, come on. I'm a